folks, and it is 11:03, so we'll get started. My name is Jordan Eller, and I'm one of the 3 community services managers here at Alta California Regional Center. Welcome to Coffee with Community Services, October 13th. Woo! My staff all love Halloween, so we're not superstitious. So at this time, I'll go ahead and introduce some of the Alta staff that I see on screen here. Starting with some of our community services staff, we have Michelle Duchesne, who is our community services manager that oversees residential and adult services. I see Shauna Frost from Michelle's team as well. Good morning, Shauna. And Christine Hobbs. Christine Hobbs was our longtime office assistant in community services, and she has now become a vendor processor coordinator. So good morning, Christine Hobbs. And we have Miss Rhonda Phillips, our housing specialist. Happy Friday. And Carly is on. Good morning, Carly, our employment specialist. We have Kylie as well, our one of our HCBS specialists. And good morning to Gary. Gary works on our day programs and I think some ILS, or is it just day programs, Gary?
Employment programs.
Employment programs. Thank you. And thank you. And we have Miss Tracy Brown, Associate Director. Good morning, Tracy. And we have Tom Casper from Community Services. Beverly from Community Services as well. She's on Helen's team. Good morning to Jason Scantleberry, one of our lead community services specialists. We have Miss Michelle Johnson, Director of Client Services. Good morning, Michelle. And I see Miss Leah from Community Services. She works on residential services. And Miss Helen Neary, our third community services specialist. Good morning to Jennifer Bloom, our Director of Client Services. And Sydney, good morning to Sydney. She is on Helen's team. And good morning to Camelia Houston. I don't know if you can hear us. Yeah, you can.
I can hear you. Good morning.
Okay.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And Ms. Jazz. Ms. Jazz is one of our client services managers out in the Yuba area. Welcome. And Shamir, our cultural diversity specialist. Good morning. Mr. B.J. Thompson, one of our residential managers focusing on our outlying residential placements and clients. And Adriana from Helen's team from Community Services. Good morning, Adriana. And if I have missed anybody, I apologize, but I just was looking for the folks who had their cameras on. So today we have a good agenda. I'm actually excited because I have Miss Megan Kwalik, who's our forensic specialist, and Miss Sharon Kerpinski, who is our victims advocate and our deflection specialist. They're going to be presenting today on some of the supports we have for our clients that are forensically involved, right? Whether or not those clients are forensically involved because they've committed a crime or they've been a victim of a crime. So we just wanted to give our vendors an opportunity to learn about the consultation services that they provide to our case management staff and the collaboration that they do with courts and councils and law enforcement, really to ensure that our clients are getting the best access to resources and making sure that they understand their developmental disabilities. So that'll be the bulk of our presentation today, but we will start with just a few housekeeping and updates. So I'll pass it over to Miss Helen. She has an SDP update for folks today.
All right. Thank you, Jordan. I know there's a lot of Alta staff in here. Wanted to remind everyone that the 024 PCP IF independent facilitator with the $2,500 max is going to end by December 31st. And then it will be replaced by 024 PCPIF with a maximum of $1,000. That's for the initial PCP, and then all of the needed supports, to transition a client to the SDP program will be reimbursed under the SEER 99 self-directed supports. By also, I think it's happening now, but the official date, January 1, 2024, those are the only available for our client as far as the SDP. Right now, we have the 024 2500 max, which families can use for both initial PCP and independent facilitator. That's going to end by December 30th. And then January 1st, we will only have the $1,000 max for 024, and then the remaining supports will be under the 099 self-directed supports. And I will be working with Sydney. With Sydney Rupert, she's here with us today. I'll be working with her to ensure that we have a complete list of all of the 099 providers and also the 024 providers before January 2024. And we're catching up with vendorization of all of those 099 applicants and also those 024. So they kind of go hand in hand. Any vendors that are going to be vendored for 099 will more than likely also be vendored for 024. And Sydney is my specialist for all of the financial management services, both for self-determination program, participant-directed services, and the self-directed supports, and also the FMS for social recreation. That's it. Thank you, Jordan.
Okay. And if folks have questions, I want to give that opportunity to ask questions of Helen. And then Sydney, if you could please put your email and phone number in the chat. So if anybody has questions, they could reach out to you directly as well. Does our community have any questions about SDP?
No.
No? Okay. Well, we'll have Ms. Sydney put her information in the chat should you need additional information, and Helen and her will be available. All right, so our next agenda item will be a DSP stipend update from Michelle.
Thank you, Helen. Can you hear me? Or me, Helen. Jordan, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a brief update. So my team, Raven and Belinda, have sent out, we've only received one full report. So I can't think of it. What is it? I can't think of it. So
your DDS report, the one you
yes,
get
yeah.
DDS?
So I was just trying to think of the actual name of the report. I apologize. So we have only received one, and that came out on October 4th. So my team has sent out all the letters. So we are sending out follow-up letters to you. So just go ahead and keep an eye out for that email if you do have some DSPs that actually have completed that. And we were supposed to get those reports every Monday. We have not received one this week. And so once we get those confirmations and the signed agreements, which we have received a lot of, we're have accounting right now processing those within 30 days. So that's kind of our update right now. And then I'll have further information once we receive our next report.
Excellent. Anybody have questions for Michelle? I always tease this group that everybody's so quiet when John Decker isn't here. And as you guys know, John Decker is not here today. I forgot to announce that at the beginning. He will return next week to Coffee with Community Services.
Just a reminder to DSP stipend at Alta Regional, and I will put that in the chat as well if you guys have any questions. And then we also have not had any further follow-up from the department regarding any questions that you guys did send out. We did receive confirmation that they are working on those and getting us that information. And we have also been told that they will update their frequently asked questions on their website. I looked yesterday and those have not been updated. I was hoping maybe just the information was on there. So as soon as we hear something, I will share it with the group.
This is Jan Escamilla, parent vendor. My staff has completed some of the training. So when you say you've got reports, your report is coming from DDS, is that right?
Correct. Yeah, it's a report that's generated from the ARCA learning management system where the trainings are.
Okay, great. Nothing I have to do then. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, folks. And thank you, Michelle, for putting the email in the chat. If anybody has any additional questions, right, they can check out that email. So now I'm going to turn it over to my forensic team, Megan and Sharon, and they have a PowerPoint to share, and we can hold questions till the end. And I am going to, I've already made you ladies co-hosts, so you should be able to share your screen. Let me know if you have any issues with that.
Megan, if you're sharing, it's muted.
Screen So I can share things. Right, I'm doing it.
Okay.
And,
And Megan's on Sharon's audio and it looks like it's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up, Miss Megan.
Is it the full screen?
Like
No,
that,
let me see.
is it better?
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I figured I probably would have this done by 3 years. Doing this. So I can't see any of you now. So if you're saying great job, smiling, nodding, raising your hand, complaining, I can't tell. So.
But I'll tell.
But Sharon will tell. Okay, so hi, I'm Megan Pollock. I'm your forensic specialist. Some of you, I know for a fact have dealt with forensic cases, and so this will probably be easy peasy stuff. And then the rest of you, welcome to the wonderful world of forensic
Forensics.
cases. And across the table, we have.
And I am Sharon Karpinski. I am the victim advocate and deflection specialist at Alta, and I work in the specialized services and supports unit with Megan. And we are under Jordan Eller, who is our magnificent supervisor. And we also have 2 other team members on our forensic support team, which are not here today, but Jordan will be sharing some information about them at the end of the presentation. So thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, part of this sharing thing is covering up my stuff, but at least I know my name. So, okay. So forensic specialist, that's me. These are some of my job in a nutshell. So basically I'm the go-to person for all of our 10 counties of the courts, public defender's offices, district attorney's offices, local law enforcement. So that's city police, county sheriff departments. But it's not just our 10 counties, it's like if we've got a case down in Riverside or LA, then I'm the contact person for that. I am the service coordinator's main point of contact as well, so that way I can provide support to them as far as what to expect with the whole court hearing process, how to navigate that with their client, visiting jail, all that fun stuff. I sit on a couple of committees, forensic review team, the specialized services and supports unit committee, mental health committee. I review all the reports, I'll role model for service coordinators going to court, especially if it's not criminal, complicated case. And like this, we get to do lots of presentations to local law enforcement or the DA's, PD's offices, so that way they get to learn too about all the wonderful things that we do. And for the past year, we've done a monthly forensic lab for our service coordinators, and managers are welcome to attend. I think you guys have some sort of manager meeting going on though. So it's very informal, just kind of like, this is what it's like to have a forensic case and this is what to expect. And we've started having designated topics, I would say. So this month we went over the life cycle of the court report, and next one will be Sharon in the spotlight doing her victim advocacy stuff. So the main reason, or the main, why can't I talk today? Sorry. This is the main, I can't talk.
Reasons.
Reasons, sorry, of how we help our clients. So we help the service coordinators, making sure that the clients are getting their due process. You know, that we all get to have a quiet constitution. We make sure that the court and counsel are aware of the client's regional center status and how that they can benefit, since the regional center is built into the penal code and mental institution codes. Sometimes court counsel is not aware of the services that are available through the region or center. Sometimes we're also helping the client understand the court process, and maybe if it appears that they don't, we can help educate their attorney. They're like, hey, maybe they may not seem to understand what's going on, and also informing clients of their rights and responsibilities, because just because you have an intellectual disability does not mean that you can escape criminal
Proceedings.
So we have this kind of split up as vendors. These are your tasks. And then on this side, we have the service coordinators will go what they're supposed to be doing when your client is having some law enforcement involvement. service coordinator is gonna be contacting me, they're gonna do an SIR, they're going to support their client at court. If the client's in custody, then the service coordinator will visit the client at the jail within 5 to 10 days. They'll keep me updated for any updating upcoming court hearings, any kind of changes of maybe inmate movement, maybe there's another case that was picked up. And I know Amanda has experience of, like, one of our clients was arrested in Placer County. There's an unresolved issue down in Sac County, so he transporter from Placer County Jail to Sac County Jail, and that was a giant mess, so that she handled that swimmingly. And then the service coordinators will, they're supposed to schedule a forensic review staffing called FRT. Vendors on your side, you guys are gonna do all that wonderful SIR stuff and get that call going with your SIR, getting it to the SIR desk. Keep your service coordinator involved of any known criminal justice involvement if they get arrested. If the client's like, hey, here's a piece of paper that the cop just gave me because I got a citation, just keep your service coordinators up to date. Support your client to court if they're out of custody. If your service coordinator is saying, hey, I need information for a report that I'm supposed to send to Megan, please make sure that you share the information that we're requesting. If you know of any court dates that the client will bring up, please make sure that your service coordinator knows, so that way they can tell me. And then please, please, please make sure that your client has access to a phone. So that way, if their attorney calls, that they will be able to communicate with each other. This kind of came up from a situation where a attorney for their civil commitment called the home. The home seemed appeared to be overcautious when the attorney called, and they had to help the client get connected with their attorney. So this is the main codes where the regional center is written into the law. So we've got Penal Code 1369 is related to competency. That's when a doubt is declared by the attorney will say, hey, court, I would like to declare a doubt to competency. I don't think my client understands what's going on. Then the regional center, we are ordered to evaluate for that competency, where we refer out to one of our vendors. If they're found incompetent, then we deal with Penal Code 1370.1, which is when the regional center will be ordered to provide a restoration plan in hopes to return to competency if possible. The other one is Penal Code 1001.21/22 for diversion of defendants with cognitively developmentally disabled adults. I think I said that right. That's basically when there's no competency issue whatsoever, but the regional center gets to come up with a set of tasks for the client to do that are hopefully going to resolve the issues that may or may not have been the reason why the crime occurred. So let's say somebody picked up a charge for possession of drug paraphernalia, then maybe we would recommend doing like maintain a sober living, maybe go to a support group to address any unmet substance abuse needs. So on your other side here, you have your civil commitments that through the Welfare and Institution Code 6500, that's commitments with persons with intellectual disabilities. It is a civil commitment. You can have that commitment due to acute crisis, or because you went through competency training, you were found not restored to competency, but you still present a serious physical harm to yourself or others. That is the short version of that commitment process. But the big takeaway here is these are the codes that the regional centers are built into the law. This is a list of the services that we can provide for all of our forensic cases. Varies from sex offender counseling, risk assessments, anger management classes, competency training, outpatient drug treatment. No, we have one residential drug treatment. That's right.
Yeah, I need to take that.
Sorry, guys, it's on there twice. I need to fix that. We can also do mobility training or transportation to services to wherever it's to day program or vocation. Maybe those are the components of a diversion plan or a restoration plan. So, but the client needs assistance getting to those locations, so we can help for that.
And Miss Megan, I don't mean to interrupt, but one service too that I think we forgot to put on the slide is mental health services. We frequently have clients, right, with dual diagnosis needs that we either refer to the county behavioral health, or we refer to something like Turning Point Transitional Support Services or full wraparound, right? So sorry to interrupt. That was just
No,
one
no,
thing.
that's good
Yeah.
because that's not on here. But the biggest one that we see a lot is that middle one, judicially involved support services. That is your recidivism prevention training that that's to address consequences of natural consequences. Jordan has a good phrase for it. Natural consequences, I think, is my version of it, but Jordan says it better.
Right, they do like consequences and choices training
That's
and
it,
and
consequences.
coping skills training. Mhm.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop talking about me and Sharon can talk about Sharon.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, and as I said before, I'm the victim advocate deflection specialist. So the things that I can do, I provide support services to our service coordinators and their clients if they've been a victim of a crime or potentially be a victim of a crime, providing resources to our service coordinators for the clients. I review all of our victim SIRs and can provide recommendations for future prevention, risk mitigation, those types of things. I can support clients in court if requested as they go through the court process, interviews with law enforcement, district attorney's offices while they're going through that. I can communicate with the district attorney, law enforcement, and victim witness to help support our clients and get some additional support and information to law enforcement and the district attorney's office as well. There's several penal codes that can be used by district attorneys in order to assist our clients as they go through the criminal justice system as a victim. So educating them on those. And then the other part of my job also is looking at statewide searches for our clients that are in need of placement, updating and accessing statewide resources. And then I participate in a number of committees, the Mental Health Committee, Living Options Committee, Specialized Services and Supports Committee, Forensic Review Team, and the Heart Staffings, which you get more information on that probably at some point in time. But those are typically for our individuals that are having a protracted hospital stay. And then just identifying resources to deflect clients from having to move into an IMD or a DC. So as all of you know, both employees of the regional center and all of our vendors and their staff are all mandated reporters, and you are required by law to report any suspected abuse or neglect. It's not an option. So basically, again, the basics, which you all know, but anytime that you become aware of any suspected abuse or neglect, you're required to report that within 24 hours by phone to any of the protective agencies that are applicable to your home or your client. So APS, Adult Protective Services, Child Protective Services, the Ombudsman's Office, Department of Public Health, Community Care Licensing, and or law enforcement. And again, phone calls within 24 hours. The reports, the written reports are due to the agencies. For adults, it's 48 hours. For children, it's 36. And for SIRs, to our SIR desk, it's 24 hours. I would highly recommend that everything is 24 hours. That way it's all included at one time. All of your information is, you're writing one report to the SIR desk, just go ahead and do those other things at the same time. Our service coordinators, if they're in a vendored care home, are required to do a well person check within 24 hours. So please be aware of that. And regardless if they're under vendored care or elsewhere, there are certain cases where they have to be reported to the SIR desk regardless. And just one major thing too is that regardless of whether you're a vendor or a staff here at the regional center, our role is not to investigate. We don't want to impede in any police investigation. So we just need to get some basic information so that we can do our reports, make sure our clients are safe, and then let the investigatory agencies do their job. And then lastly, to complete any follow-up that's required for the SIR. Next slide. And then these are just some community resources that are available as for our clients who have been victims of crime. The county victim witness, every county has that through the district attorney's office. They can do all kinds of things to support our clients, including some counseling. They can provide court accompaniment, emotional support while they're going through the court process. They can provide assistance in completing the victim compensation program paperwork so that they can get additional financial support, assistance in obtaining emergency services like food, clothing, and shelter if they have to leave their home, assistance in preparing victim impact statements for courts, and assisting with restraining orders as well. One of the other things that we have done as an agency and victim witness can do as well is get our clients certified to be competent as a witness. Several times people have said that our clients aren't able to testify because of their cognitive disability, but in fact, most of the time they are. I actually had a client who was nonverbal, and he assisted in his trial, and the defendant was charged and sentenced to 8 years. And he wrote a magnificent victim impact statement that the district attorney read in court. So it's really important that we advocate and educate everybody about what our clients are capable of doing. So next slide. And then just to give you all some information and national statistics, 80% of women and 30% of men with a developmental disability will be or have been sexually assaulted in their lifetime. And then 3% of sexual abuse cases with individuals with developmental disabilities are reported. So obviously not very high number. And then 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men are victims of domestic violence with a disability. 70% of adults with disabilities experience some form of abuse by an intimate partner or family member or caregiver. And these are all from the Spectrum Institute for Disabilities and Abuse Project, if you want to look up some more stats. And then just to give you kind of a rundown on the other side is our third quarter statistics from our SIRs. So in the last 3 months, we've had 23 incidents of suspected abuse, 31 incidents of suspected neglect, and 15 incidents of failure to protect from health and safety, and 21 incidents of victims of a crime. So, and those are just the ones that have been reported. So I know that there's many that have gone unreported to us. And then if you're interested in doing additional training for your staff, I included in here 4 links. These are all free training that are online on either child abuse or mandated reporting for adults or elder or dependent abuse. They're really good videos, and they do provide you with a certificate at the end. So that's really important if you guys need to track some additional training or anything like that.
Excellent. And then did you guys want me to do these last 2 slides, or Megan, did you want to?
I will gladly accept your offers to do this.
Okay, excellent. So folks, I wanted an opportunity to introduce the role of all of our forensic team, right? So we have Miss Megan, our forensic specialist, who really focuses on supporting our case management staff when we have a client involved in the criminal justice system, who's being charged with a crime, right? We have Miss Sharon for our victims advocacy. And then we have a new position, which is really exciting. This came about this year. We collaborated with Camelia Houston and Tim Kuwazaki from the intake unit. unit and created a new position called the forensic intake specialist, right? So Isabel Chavria is our first intake specialist that focuses on all of our forensic court orders, right? So we are frequently court ordered to evaluate individuals who have not yet been determined eligible for services, right? So we're court ordered for competency or diversion. And Isabel is now assigned to every single court ordered referral that comes in, and she completes the social assessment and intake process. And then we really are excited about this position because, as you can imagine, right, our intake unit gets hundreds and hundreds of referrals every month. And in regards to supporting 10 different counties, right, and 10 different public defenders' office, we thought it would be really nice for the courts and councils to have one intake forensic specialist that they knew that they could contact if they were going to be referring over one of their defendants or they have questions about the intake referral process. So, and Isabel is doing a fantastic job with that. She also helps process all of the court orders that we receive. So that is an exciting position that has been really beneficial in improving our communication and collaboration with the courts on the intake side. Slide, please. And then the last individual that we have on our forensic team is Miss Janice Rhodes. This position is mainly an individual who oversees our civil commitments, right? So Megan talked about Welfare and Institution Code 6500 for clients who've been deemed a danger to themselves or others based off their developmental disability. Most of our clients who are on a 6500 are on one as a result of being found incompetent to stand trial on some form of serious felony, right? And they continue to pose danger. So Miss Janice, she attends all those court dates for us. She writes up our what we call our 6500 assessment reports. She partners with the district attorney's office when we feel like we need to file a petition for a 6500 commitment. She also is a facility liaison to some of our specialized homes and helps schedule and operate our specialized services drop-in clinic. But both Isabel and Janice are off today. So I did want to give you guys an opportunity to just know all about the 4 individuals we have on our forensic team. And then in general, here are contacts, right? And Megan and Sharon, I'll ask that you go ahead and drop your contact into the chat as well so that folks have that. And then if we want to stop sharing, we can open it up for any questions that folks might have. I think in general too, right? I mean, it would, in regards to vendors, how many of you guys have supported a client who's been a victim of a crime? Show of hands. Right? Sad but true, it is, right? So it's such an important resource that we have for our service coordinators, right? And it's so vital that the district attorneys and the public defenders who are either prosecuting our clients or supporting our clients because they have been a victim of a crime, and it's so essential that they understand their developmental disability and the supports and services that could be provided to them through the regional center. At any given time, I would say that we have at least 30 to 50 clients who are on a court-ordered diversion plan, right? And the great thing about diversion for individuals with cognitively delayed needs is that the diversion plans are pre-plea, right? So they don't have to plead guilty to go into a diversion plan. And then if they're successful with that diversion plan, the case is completely dismissed. They can get it taken off their record, right? So when we think about adults who are trying to get jobs, trying to get stable housing, right? We know that for any citizen, if you have criminal history of convictions, right, that it's much harder for you to be able to obtain housing and to obtain those jobs. So it's really important that we do try to prevent clients' recidivism risk and really provide them support and training so that they understand the severity of the situation that they're in, right? And we know, of course, we're social workers, we're not attorneys, but we can really help empower the defense attorney if we're able to share with them the details of the client's individual program plan, how they communicate, right? Some of the coping skills that they might need it to be developing. And on the opposite side, right, for Ms. Sharon, right, it's so vital that the district attorney really understands the functioning of the victim so that they can be an active part of their advocacy, right, making sure that they get due process as a victim. Does anybody have any questions or even comments or anything about this topic? Is there anything in the chat here? Let me check. Oh, cool. It looks like S. Phillips has put in the chat that root and rebound is a expungement option and pro bono attorney. So thank you so much for sharing that generic resource. That's fantastic. And let's see.
I have one question. I'm not in the chat.
Okay.
This is Jan Escamilla, a parent vendor in Placerville. After working in this field for 20 years, I filed my first SIR a month or so ago, actually August 16th. And this was for financial abuse. I manage my son's care. And I did all the right paperwork, but it's pretty interesting that the perception of law enforcement, at least in El Dorado County, is to basically ignore any actions from the disabled population. I've been to the police department 2 times to try to get a copy of a police report that that they should have created as a result of an APS document, and I get nothing. We're talking about $5,000 to $10,000 here of theft, and I really don't want this perpetrator to work in the field with another agency. So my question is, how do you protect agencies from hiring people that have issues that maybe they haven't quite made it, to the DOJ criminal check or the FBI? This guy could have been from out of state. I should have done an FBI check on him. I mean, do you have an answer to that, or is it all redacted from from the police department report?
Yeah, and I think, and that is one thing that's hard, is if you're not a named person in the police report, right? There are regulations about who police can share the police report with. If you're a named person, you can pay for a copy of the police report. In general, though, I do think that, as even a regional center, right? I know for our employees, we do fingerprinting and we do a full, an additional background check. But I think some of that, would be looking to each vendor's policies and procedures in regards to what kind of background check they do, if it's anything besides fingerprinting. But I think for so many of us, right, that is the primary. And I don't know if any vendors here would like to share if they have any other type of background checks that they do. I do know on our end as a regional center too, right? I mean, before somebody can become a vendor, we have to put them through the Office of Inspector General portal. It's called the OIG portal, so that we can make sure that we're not vendoring anybody who has a history of any Medi-Cal or Medicaid fraud, right? Welfare fraud. So that is one thing that we do on the vendorization side. But for employment, I think it's definitely something that in this, providing services to individuals with developmental disabilities, we frequently see individuals, right, who are not acting in the best interest of our clients and who are guilty of abuse and neglect and financial mistreatment. Sharon, I don't know if any other vendors or anybody else has any ideas on that.
I haven't done the FBI check. I think I found an agency downtown here that might help me with the how. But if you were thinking about how you might educate small vendors, I think under the new programs, you're vendoring a lot of families and parents, and we need some help in trying to figure this out, because it's too late once you hire somebody and they create all the issues that you're speaking of. So I don't know how to do for example, this particular individual had worked in Washington State. Well, I'm thinking that what we normally do here for California is going to pick up anything in Washington State. So I guess I need to understand how to do an FBI check. Okay. So that's kind of, I don't have a perspective on these checks. So if you think you want to provide some information to us on an easy way to get these done, that would be helpful.
Okay, definitely. We can definitely meet with our team and see if we have any additional information. Sharon, do you mind jotting down her contact information there and her email from the chat? And then we can reach out to you directly as well. The one other thing too, I want to mention in regards to El Dorado County, I know that both, Sharon Wiggins, our manager from the Placerville office, Megan and Sharon for the past about 6 months have been going up to the El Dorado County Sheriff's Department doing, doing trainings, right? Trainings on what is the regional center and the services we provide and crisis intervention. I do think that Mary Rettenhouse, our autism specialist, I think also participated in some of those trainings. So, we definitely see the need to educate law enforcement about our services and some of the things that Sharon had mentioned, that our clients are capable, right? Some of them are very capable of being credible witnesses. And it is vital that whether or not you have a disability, that the law enforcement is taking you seriously. So we've also had an opportunity to do that with Nevada City Police. We did about 4 years ago, we did a whole bunch of trainings with Sac City Police Department. So that is always a goal of ours. I do think too, in regards to a client being a victim of a crime, the service coordinator assigned to that individual's case can definitely consult with Sharon Karpinski. We could reach out potentially to the district attorney's office if the planning team thought that was appropriate. We could have Sharon reach out just to see if they've received anything for filing, right? Because the officer is the one who would take down the report and to determine if it should be sent over for the district attorney's office for formal criminal filing charges against the alleged perpetrator. So
I am actually my son's conservator.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I should have mentioned that. Maybe
Yeah,
I can't remember if I did, but okay. So, this is all very helpful. I appreciate your thoughts here.
Yeah,
Okay.
and definitely feel free to reach out to Sharon. If you guys wanted to have a planning team meeting with the service coordinator and Sharon, we'd be happy to chat specifics about your situation.
Yeah, I'll be thinking about that. It's nice to meet you, Sharon. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you so much. And I just wanted to see if we had anything else in the chat. Sharon, do you want to chat about Elk Grove PD?
Sure. So we did, it's been a little bit before COVID, but we did an entire training. Mary Rettenhouse and myself did a training for all of Elk Grove PD. So anybody that is an officer or interacts with the public, we did a full training for them and are getting ready to schedule some more in the first of the year. But they have since developed a form for all of the individuals in the community, if they want to participate in it, that the family members can complete and submit, and care homes can do it as well and submit that to the Elk Grove Police Department. And then what that provides them is information on the client, like what things trigger them, what things will calm them down, their behaviors, where they may go if they are lost. And then if there's any calls out through any first responder, either ambulance, fire, or police, all of that information is entered into the Elk Grove Police Department system, and then it gets transmitted out to all of the first responders so that they have that information. And it's been proven to be extremely helpful. And the officers are then a little bit more aware of things and how to de-escalate situations. All of the officers and the sergeants now also carry with them communication cards in their cars. They have a bag of like stimulation toys and things like that a lot of our clients with autism find really helpful when they're dealing with traumatic experiences. We've provided links for officers to put apps on their phones to communicate with our nonverbal clients. And it's proven to be extremely helpful. We have now done, I think, 4 years of a program called Fly Fit, where the police department works with our clients once a week, doing an exercise program, and they have officers in uniform and then officers out of uniform. So it's given both our clients and families a little bit more experience with our officers and a little bit more trust with our officers. And then the officers also get more experience in how to interact with the clients. So that's been extremely helpful. And then we have been called out to a couple of pretty intense situations where they realized that the individual involved was one of our clients, and they contacted us to get additional support. So one was a young child around 7, and his mother committed suicide in the home. And so they contacted us for extra support for the client and the officers. And then there's been a couple times where we've had some lost or missing, and we've been contacted to provide support and assistance as well. So it does make an impact in our working and reaching out to law enforcement. So we are hitting up the offices and the departments, and unfortunately some aren't as open as others, but we just keep working on it.
And on that note too, there's also the Take Me Home Safely program. So if you are a vendor and the planning team is interested in providing information to Sacramento County Sheriff's Department about a loved one who might wander or get lost, who, if they were approached by law enforcement, they wouldn't be able to give them the name or their phone number or their address, right? There is a system where it's all voluntary, of course. There's an option to upgrade pictures and describe the type of medications and stuff they're on. And some people don't feel comfortable sharing that. But for families who do have clients that may wander and that would not be safely on their own, that is just another kind of safety measure to help ensure that law enforcement could potentially be aware of who they are and their support needs.
Hey, Jordan,
Yes.
I have a question.
Mhm.
This is Margaret from In Alliance. We have been experiencing some difficulty with Sacramento police. Not taking our participants when they're actually exhibiting dangerous behaviors. And I am not sure if we've been hearing a lot about this. And then when they go to the hospital for further evaluation, they want to discharge them because they said that their intellectual disability impedes with the proper management of their mental illness. And they always tell us that they should be somewhere that's locked and institutional, something. And this is ongoing. This is an ongoing issue. And we just feel so helpless. And sometimes we find ourselves transporting our participants that are having extreme unsafe behaviors towards self and the community, but we're not getting any response. It's a lot of hostility with the Sacramento police.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of getting to the point where we just don't know how to get help, and even hospitals now doesn't want to help our people. The last incident I had with UC Davis, the public defender's office was involved because the hospital just want to release her right away without doing anything because of her intellectual disability. Mm-hmm. Do you have any guidance on us, the rights, because it is going on and we're not getting really a lot of good psychiatrists that have the ability to, I don't know, work with dual diagnosis.
Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So we really need help because we don't know what to do.
Yeah. And that is something that we deal with on a daily basis here at the regional center. The one thing that we do let families and vendors know that if you are going to call law enforcement and it's a situation where you think it's appropriate to ask for a mobile crisis team, right? The mobile crisis team usually comes out with an officer and an LCSW, right? And that licensed clinical social worker can help provide some assessment and triage to the officers about whether they should be taken to the local ER for a 5150 evaluation. Another thing that we're working on here at our regional center, and I see Miss Heather Hollingworth is on the screen with Sharon. And we see this as a huge need, right? Helping to educate our hospitals about individuals with developmental disability, and that they frequently have dual diagnoses with mental health, and that their behavior, that the symptoms that they're exhibiting aren't just a behavior, if you will, due to a developmental disability, could actually be mental health symptomology, right? So Heather Hollingworth stepped into a position called the acute care coordinator. I actually, based on some of this, I think it would be great if we have Heather actually present at Coffee with Community Services at another time. We have about 8 minutes left to really kind of hear from the community on some of the barriers the vendors are having with collaboration with hospital staff. Heather frequently participates in discharge planning meetings, and we do have some other crisis services that may be a support to vendors and clients when they do have to call law enforcement. So that's something that we can consult about as well. But we see it as a systematic issue. I think every client services manager on this screen could very well verify that that is something that we see very regularly with our hospital community, and right to indicating that it's just their developmental disability, right? That's the only reason that they're having that specific behavior, if you will.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so I will consult with John Decker. We'll get Heather Hollingworth on schedule here for Coffee with Community Services in the next month or two, so that we can have a bigger discussion about this, because it is huge. And as a vendor, right, if you are going through something specific, go ahead and, we can have Heather put her information in the chat if you don't mind, Megan or Sharon, entering that information. But planning teams, service coordinators can reach out to Heather, invite her to planning team meetings, or to have consults with vendors to try to resolve some of this. But it is a systemic issue that we're trying to address with cross-training, collaboration. I know Jennifer Bloom and Heather are having a presentation to the Hospital Association, right, to really educate them on what we can and can't do as a regional center. Many hospitals think that we can have emergency placements, that we can automatically emergency place somebody, and that it's just not the way our service system is generally set up. So this is a great topic though, and it's a huge need for our clients and families to be able to have what we would feel like is a more thorough evaluation at that ER, right? To really look at the whole person and all of the diagnoses and all of the symptoms. So anything else on for my forensic support team? And Shamir, I did see your email. We definitely try to continue coordinating with law enforcement for training. So we have a list of some attorneys that we want to target next, some attorney's office, district attorney's office and public defender's office. And we just got down with the El Dorado piece for their sheriff's department. We can definitely look at providing additional training to Sacramento County in the future.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, folks, we just have a couple minutes left. Just as a reminder for some vendor forums that are going to be coming up, we have the ILS vendor forum on Monday, the 16th. That will be via Zoom from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. That invite is sent out by Miss Christine Hobbs. If you don't have the invite, Christine, would you mind putting your name in the chat there in case anybody needs that ILS vendor forum invite? And then we also have
it's also on our website as well.
Oh,
under our
perfect.
calendar of events.
Oh, perfect. So folks can go to our calendar. And then we also have our vendor forum for the advanced behavioral support homes and community crisis homes. That is October 26th, in person at the Alta office from 10 to 12 p.m. in the Brenda Smith. So I know that Dee Dee Peters from our community services department has sent out the link to all of our EBSH and CCH providers, but if you did not get it, just let us know. And then Carly, we have about 4 minutes left. If you would like to give a blast one more time about the job fair.
Yes, I'm gonna actually try and get in 2 blasts here if I can.
We would love that. We got time.
Can you let me or give me permission to share my screen?
Absolutely. Just 1 second. Let me find you here. Miss Carly, there you are. Co-host. And I'll also pin you here for everybody.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the first one is our Disability Industry Career Expo. This will be on November 7th at Sierra College, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is the second one we are hosting in our catchment area. The first one was on May 3rd. We had about 50 providers there. It was a very successful event. We had over 250 job seekers attend. Based on the responses we received, we only received about 40% responses from about 40% of people who came, but of those 40%, they said they received, they hired about 20 people from that event. So please come. Here is the QR code. So I'm going to leave this here for a few moments so that you guys can pull out your phones right now and scan that and sign up.
Cool.
This will be at Sierra College in their cafeteria, middle of the school days. So there will be a lot of people there. We're also doing a big campaign blast. We just went into contract with a PR consultant, Robin Swanson, to get some spots on KCRA as well. So I'm going to stop sharing that and then go and share our next one. You can also find that on our DSP Collaborative website. It is a free event, and you can also sign up on the DSP Collaborative website. It is a free job board. I encourage everyone to sign up and utilize it. The next event is being hosted by Pride Industries, their I Am Able Disability Job Fair, October 18th at McClellan Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is a job fair specifically for people with disabilities. There will be, here it says 20, but I got word yesterday that they have about 100 companies attending. Every company there is attending with the intent of hiring people with disabilities. They will also have people there to assist with resume building, interviewing techniques. They will have interpretation support there for anyone who needs it. So if you have anyone that you work with that would benefit from attending this event, definitely please share this with them. And I will put both of these flyers in the chat.
Awesome opportunities for our clients and for our vendors. Thank you so much, Carly. Does anybody have any questions about either of those events for Carly? All right. Well, thank you so much, Carly, for putting those in the chat. And I do see that BJ had indicated that he was excited to see more coordinated family supports vendorizations going on. And I know that Compass ILS and SLS, I don't know if they're on or not. I know Jason might be able to speak to a little of that, but it's always great to see additional vendorizations for this new service code that we have.
Yeah, we've got one more coming up as well too. On My Own is just about ready to be done.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you have any other questions about that, BJ, go ahead and reach out to Jason too. He's our guru of coordinated family supports. Okay, folks. Well, we're at our 12 o'clock hour, and I really appreciate all of our community vendors participating and our regional center staff. I hope you guys all have a fabulous Friday the 13th and a great weekend. Thank you all.